By now, most of us have made peace with the fact that things are going to continue to get more expensive. And even when we get a raise, we still feel like we're falling behind. But what if this wasn't an accident? What if there was a specific date that changed money forever? And that date was August 15th, 1971. President Nixon went on national television and told the world that the United States would temporarily stop converting dollars into gold. And the key the key word here that I want you to remember is temporary, um, because we're now 55 years later and we never went back. And this wasn't just some boring change in the banking system. It was actually a way bigger deal than people think, and most Americans don't know about that. Once you understand what happened that night, you will never look at money the same way again, and maybe, just maybe, you will understand why Bitcoin exists. But first, you have to understand what the dollar was before 1971. So before 1971, the dollar was worked a little bit differently. Um, it was backed by gold, and many major currencies were tied to the US dollar. And the average American couldn't just redeem their gold for their dollars after 1933, but other major other governments and other foreign governments and central banks, they could do that after 1944, when the world declared the United States the global reserve currency. And I think this is one of the reasons why gold failed as money, because you cannot easily send gold across the world. You have to create some sort of digital product, some sort of IOU to transact in gold, and you have to hope that the person that's actually holding the gold does not cheat. And that became a problem because in the 1960s, the United States started to spend heavily, and more dollars were circulating around the world, and other people started to notice. Other countries started to notice that, oh, wait a minute, like the United States is they have a lot more dollars circulating around the world. Like, what's going on? Do they actually have that, the amount of gold that they say they have? So some countries began to exchange their dollars for gold because they were scared, and that that put some pressure on the American gold reserve. So when when that happened, America, or I guess, well, America and President Nixon started to freak out, and that is when President Nixon announced that he would no longer allow other foreign governments to exchange dollars into gold. And that is what we now know as the Nixon shock. Um, and I don't know about you guys, but if somebody says that we are going to temporarily stop something, I don't think temporarily would last 55 years. That day actually changed money forever. And because once the dollar was no longer backed by gold, it was no longer backed by anything specific. We could now just print an unlimited amount of dollars, an unlimited amount of currency. And the value of the dollar was then just, it was value based on faith and trust that the currency would stay as the strongest currency. It Ever since 1971, the amount of dollars in circulation has just grown like dramatically. And this is not the first time that something like this happened. There are research out there that shows that there has been over 700 different forms of fiat currencies around the world, and they all became worthless. And that's one of the reasons why things get more expensive is because we're printing money. And if you know basic supply and demand, if let's say a baby, small little baby economy, if you have $10 and 10 apples, and you would assume that each apples would cost $1 because there are $10 and 10 apples, right? But if you increase the money supply, the amount of money in that little small economy, you double the supply, and now you have $20 and you still don't have, and you don't increase the amount of apples, then each apple would obviously double in price. They would cost $2. And that's exactly what's been going on in our world here. Uh, you have the media is telling you that the CPI is only, they measure inflation by CPI, and the media is telling you that inflation is only 2 to 3% per year. But the reality is that the money supply, if you just do a basic Google search, and it's on the this is on the Federal Reserve website itself. If you do a basic Google search, you'll see that the money supply has been increasing at roughly about 7% per year on average until 2020. And after 2020, um, let's just say that it took us about 200 years to reach $15 trillion. And then it just took us 6 years to create the next $8 trillion. Like, let me say that one more time because I feel like people may not understand this. It took us 200 years to create $15 trillion. 200 years to create $15 trillion. And just in the past 6 years, we created $8 trillion. And if my math is correct, right now we are at $23 trillion. If my math is correct, we probably will reach $30 trillion by 2030 if the money supply continues to increase at 7% per year. So we would, in just 10 years, we would just double the amount of money in circulation in just 10 years. It took us about just a little over 200 years to create 15 trillion. And in 10 years, we would be creating another 15 trillion. Like, wow, that's wild. That's wild. And I know that was a lot of numbers and talking, but the point I'm trying to hear is that this wasn't just some random date in history that's gonna, that doesn't matter. This was a major turning point in our money system because they tell you to, work hard, go to school, take on a mortgage, save your money in the bank, put it in a 401k, put it in a Roth IRA, get your 10% from the S&P 500, whatever, yada yada. But if the money supply is increasing at 7% per year and all your investments are giving you anywhere between 7 to 10% per year, then you are barely keeping up with inflation. And the way I see it is that basically you have three options. Option one is you can ignore, just don't believe anything I just said, and trust that the system is working perfectly, and you can trust that the government is gonna do the right thing, and you can trust that inflation is what they say it is, that the inflation is CPI and it's only 2% per year, and you can trust that your bank giving you 0.5% per year is okay and you'll be okay. But personally, I think the people that choose option one are going to become the new lower class. And if that's your choice, good luck with that. You have option two. You can try to out earn it and try maybe by investing in things that are making you maybe 20, 30% a year, or trying to come up with your own investment or your own business and try to outpace inflation. And that's a decent option. But it's hard, it's not guaranteed. Or you can choose option three, which is own scarcity. And to add a little cherry on top of option three, let's say you still keep your 9 to 5, like I do, I still work as a nurse. And on top of keeping your 9 to 5, you are working on a side hustle to out earn inflation on a side business. And on top of that, you are owning scarcity. By owning scarcity, I mean owning a form of money that cannot be created out of thin air. Owning a form of money that nobody else can print, something that is scarce, something that no government can say, oh hey, tomorrow morning I'm gonna increase the amount of that money from 21 million to 41 million units. A form of money that is truly decentralized and scarce. And no, it's not gold. Gold, unfortunately, is, yes, there is a limited amount, but it's not truly scarce. It's not finite. The amount of gold, the supply of gold still increases at about 2% per year, and the supply of gold doubles every 35 years or so. So the form of money that I'm talking about is Bitcoin. Only 21 million coin. And the best part about Bitcoin is that you are, yes, the price may seem a little intimidating right now, but you are still very early to this. Um, Bitcoin is only 17 years old. It's probably going to be here for a very long time. And the best part about it is that you can still buy fractions of Bitcoin. And the key here is that it's is to remember that Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. This is something that you use to save the value of your time and your energy, something that you use like to, if you have any money that you don't need for the next 5, 10, 20 years, this is the best place to park it so that you don't lose the value of your time and your energy. So if you are interested in learning more about Bitcoin and learning more about what the difference between the dollar and Bitcoin is, check out my school community. I'll put a link in the description. I try to put the best resources out there so that you don't have to go look for information yourself. And it's free for now, but probably won't be free forever. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about money, check out this video on the screen right now so that you can learn about the difference between money and currency.